Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Shabbat class. This is the 28th of January, 2023. What we're gonna be dealing with today is Israel's Exodus, Vibranium, Wakanda, and the Tanakh. Okay, we're gonna tie all that together. I hope you get something out of it. Okay, I'm asking everybody to go to our YouTube channel, Prophets of Awakening, and check out our videos. It's a lot of information given, and videos will connect dots for you and lead you into the truth of the Tanakh, the Holy Scriptures. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, subscribe to the channel, and it'd be greatly appreciated. And for those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Shalom and welcome to Prophets of Awakening, and welcome to our Sabbath class. Okay, we're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, Sabbath prayer, Psalms. Then we're going to current events. So, but what I'm going to do today with this current events is I'm going to synchronize it all so you can get an understanding out of the lesson and the title of the lesson. Okay. So this moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts and our Redeemer and Yahweh, our Creator, and all that they're doing and all that's been prophesied and how it's all coming to pass. Oh Lord, we come before thee at this hour on your day that you have given us for rest on your Shabbat, praising you and honoring you because of your position both in heaven and upon the earth, a position in which the Creator Yahweh have given unto thee. And through your spirit and counsel, oh Lord, we have awakened. We have awakened to know who we are as a people and who you are as our Savior and our Redeemer. We are thankful for all that you have done, and we are eagerly searching your scriptures out that we may be in the right place at the right time upon your arrival to this planet. Oh Lord, we pray to thee that you continue to let your light shine down upon us in spirit and in truth. And we love you and we seek you daily, oh Lord, and there is none else besides thee to redeem us. You in the affairs of the world, and we faithfully await your deliverance. Peace be unto you. Okay. So with that being said, read the psalm. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna read let me see what we got here. I'm gonna read Psalm 78. It's kind of long, but it's gonna serve its purpose. Okay, it's remember God's goodness to Israel. Okay, it says it's a psalm of Asaph. Give ear, O my people, to my law. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. We will not hide them from their children, showing to the generations to come the praises of the Lord and his strength and his wonderful works that he have done. For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers, that they should make them known to their children, that the generations to come might know them, even the children which should be born, who shall arise and declare them to their children, that they may set their hopes in God and not forget the works of God, but keep his commandments, and might not be as their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that set not their heart aright, and whose spirit was not steadfast with God. The children of Ephraim, being armed and carrying bows, turned back in the day of battle. They kept not the covenant of God, and refused to walk in his law, and forgot his works and his wonders that he had showed them. Marvelous things did he in the sight of their fathers, in the land of Egypt, in the field of Zon. He divided the sea, and he caused them to pass through, and he made the waters to stand as a heap. In the daytime also he led them with a cloud, and all the night with a light of fire. He clave the rock in the wilderness, and gave them drink as out of a great depths. He brought streams also out of the rock, and caused waters to run down like rivers. And they sinned yet more against him by provoking the Most High in the wilderness. And they tempted God in their heart by asking meat for their lust. Yea, they spake against God. They said, can God furnish a table in the wilderness? Behold, he smote the rock, that the waters gushed out, and the streams overflowed. Can he give bread also? Can he provide flesh for his people? Therefore the Lord heard this and was wroth. So a fire was kindled against Jacob, and anger also came up against Israel, because they believed not in God, and they trusted in his not in his salvation. Though he had commanded the clouds from above, and opened the doors of heaven, and had rained down manna upon them to eat, and had given them the corn of heaven. Man did eat angels' food. He sent him meat to the full. He caused an east wind to blow in the heaven, and by his powers he brought it in the south winds. He rained flesh also upon them as dust, and feathered fowls like as the sands of the sea. And he let it fall in the midst of their camp, round about their habitation. So they did eat, and were well filled. He gave them their own desires, and they were not strange from their lust. But while their meat was yet in their mouths, the wrath of God came upon them, and slew the fattest of them, and smote them down, the chosen men of Israel. For all this they sinned still, and believed not for his wondrous works. Therefore their days did he consume in vanity, in their years of trouble. And when he slew them, then they sought him, and they returned and inquired early after God. And they remembered that God was their rock, and the high God their redeemer. Nevertheless, they did flatter him with their mouth, and they led him with their tongues, for their hearts was not right with him, neither were they steadfast in his covenant. But he, being full of compassion, forgave their iniquity and destroyed them not. Yea, many a times turned he his anger away, and did not stir up all his wrath. For he remembered that they were but flesh, a wind that passeth away and cometh not again. How oft did they provoke him in the wilderness, and grieved him in the desert? Yea, they turned back and tempted God, and limited the Holy One of Israel. They remembered not his hand, nor the day when he delivered them from the enemy, how he had wrought his signs in Egypt, and his wonders in the fields of Zon, and had turned their rivers into blood, and their floods that they could not drink. He sent divers sorts of flies among them, which devoured them, and frogs which destroyed them. He gave also their increase unto the caterpillar, and their labor unto the locust. He destroyed their vines with hail, and their sycamore trees with frost. He gave up their cattle also to hail, and their flocks to hot thunderbolts. He cast upon them the fierceness of his anger, wrath, and indignation, and troubled by sending evil angels among them, and made and had made a way to his anger. He made a way to his anger. He spared not their soul from death, but gave their life over to pestilence, and smote all the firstborn in Egypt, the chief of their strange in the tabernacle of Ham, but made his own people to go forth like sheep, and guided them in the wilderness like a flock. And he led them on safely, so that they feared not, but the sea overwhelmed their enemies. And he brought them to the borders of his sanctuary, even to this mountain, which his right hand had purchased. He cast out the heathen also before them, and divided them an inheritance by line, and made the tribes of Israel to dwell in their tents. Yet they tempted and provoked the Most High God. They kept not his testimony, but turned back and dealt unfaithfully like their fathers. They were turned aside like a deceitful bow, for they provoked him to anger with their high places, and moved him to jealousy with their graven images. When God heard this, he was wroth, and greatly abhorred Israel, so that he forsook the tabernacle of Shiloh, the tent which he placed among them. He delivered his strength into captivity, and his glory into the enemy's hand. He gave his people over also unto the sword, and was wroth with his inheritance. The first, the fire consumed their young men, their maidens, were not given to marriage. Their priests fell by the sword, and their widows made no lamentation. Did the Lord awaken and out of sleep, and like a mighty man, they shouted by reason of wine, and he smote his enemies in the hinder parts, and put them to the perpetual reproach. Moreover, he refused the tabernacle of Joseph, and chose not the tribe of Ephraim, but chose the tribe of Judah, the Mount Zion which he loved. And he built his sanctuary like high places, like the earth which he hath established forever. He chose David also his servant, and took him from the sheepfold, from following the ewes, great with young. He brought him to feed Jacob, his people, and Israel his inheritance. So he fed them according to the integrity of his heart, and guided them by the skillfulness of his hands. So that was Psalm 78. And the thing about it that I like about Psalm 78 is it's a reminder of how steadfast the Lord of hosts is, and our history with him. On every turn, we turned back and denounced him. But he's steady showing his power and his might, but that wasn't good enough for us. That's why we're in the predicament we in. Anybody got any comments on that?
Shalom, everyone. I
Okay.
was gonna say the same, thing on, kind of what you were saying is that he is still faithful to us, you know, despite our unfaithfulness. And we seem to always forget that when we are in a jam, it's him that, saves us. It's no one
Right.
else. And we seem to always you know, not remember, you know, that no matter what situation we're in, it's him that saves us. And even though we forget that, he still shows his love.
Okay. Yeah. Right. You're right. Yeah. So, like I said, I'm be connecting a lot of dots and reconnecting dots from back in the day and all that today, because this is this is a big day right here, Shabbat. So what I was going to look at right here when this Psalm 78 is uh I continue to keep talking about the 400 years and what this really applies to. It applies to Egypt, because we see it all through the song right here. But my point is this right here. I'm in Psalm 78, verse 64. Uh, like I said, it's something when you understand how he used Joseph. That he caused those 11 brothers to turn on Joseph, threw him in the well, and they was going to send him. They wanted to kill him, but Judah stepped in and gave him an alternative to, to just sell him, rather than kill him, sell him to and let him go like that. And then they killed a goat and put the blood of the goat on his coat of many colors and gave him to Jacob. So the Most High used them. He used Judah, but and so being that how he used Joseph, and he gave Joseph a double portion when they got to the land, he gave them a lot for Ephraim and a lot for Manasseh. And you see all through the scriptures his love for Joseph. He shows it by the way he deal with it. But my point is something happened, and I'm gonna show it to you right here with Ephraim, because he turned from Ephraim, right? And it's got to do with what I showed you in Jasher when they left Egypt early, based on the 400 years that he had prophesied that they was going to be in Egypt. But Ephraim, because of all that he had received from the Lord and his might, he rejected him, and they left. So let's look at it right quick right here. And the Psalms kind of this is pointing to it. But if you ain't there, you're not gonna see it. So Psalm 64, 78, verse 64. Their priests fell by the sword, talking about Israel, and their widows made no lamentation. The Lord awakened out of his sleep, and like a mighty man that shouted by reason of wine, and he smote his enemies in the hinder parts, and he put them to a perpetual reproach. Moreover, he refused the tabernacle of Joseph. See that? He refused. So something happened right here. He refused the tabernacle of Joseph and chose not the tribe of Ephraim. So he rejected the tribe of Ephraim. Then it says, but chose the tribe of Judah and the mount of Zion which he loved. And he built the sanctuary like a high place, like the earth which he have established forever. So what happened? So you notice right here, this after, when he said he chose Judah, this when the 12 tribes came out and they got their allotments. And then he chose Joseph. He said the scepter, the kingship and all that was going to come out of Judah. So what happened? Let's look at it right quick. And like I said, you can look at it, let it permeate. You might want to come up with your own conclusion. But anyway, so I'm in Jasher right quick, and we're going to see what happened right here. Let me get it. Yeah, so everything looking smooth right now while we're doing the class, but trying to set this class up called hell. But all kind of crazy stuff was happening with the computers and all that. It didn't make no sense. But we here anyway. So let's look at it. Okay. So they go out again. You know what's up. Fight through it. Okay. I read it before. So I'm just trying to find it. I want to read it. Okay, I'll be back here in the back. Okay. Yeah, here you go. So it's in Jasher 75. Jasher 75, it says, and at that time in the 180th year of the Israelites going down into Egypt, there went forth from Egypt valiant men, 30,000 on foot, from the children of Israel, who were all of the tribe of Joseph. So this is what happened there right here when he changed from Ephraim. So Abraham, which is his man, had told him, you're going to be there for 400 years, right? But Ephraim side right here, from the children of Joseph, from the children of Israel, who were all of the tribe of Joseph. These are all valiant men from the tribe of Ephraim, from Joseph. Children of Ephraim, sons of Joseph. They said the period was completed which the Lord had appointed to the children of Israel in times old to Moses, which, to Abraham, which he had spoken by Abraham. That take you to Genesis chapter 14, the prophecy, 400-year prophecy. But Ephraim decided to leave early because of his might. Valiant men. Let's read it again. At that time, in the 180th year of the Israelites going down into Egypt, Abraham already told them they're going to be there 400 years. There went forth from Egypt valiant men, 3,000 on foot, from the children of Israel, who were all of the tribe of Joseph. And the children of Ephraim, the son of Joseph. For they said, see, down what the Most High said, for they said the period was completed which the Lord had appointed to the children of Israel in times old, which he had spoken to Abraham. Can't take you nowhere else but to Genesis chapter 15. Can't go nowhere else. And so we go back to the Psalms and we see this is the event that turned here from Ephraim right here. So it says, I'll read it again. I'm in Psalm 78. Then the Lord awakened as out of a sleep, all right, and like a mighty man that shouted by reason of his enemies, and he smote his enemies. This is Egypt. This is when he went to Egypt. He smote his enemies in the hinder parts, and he put them to a perpetual reproach. That's Egypt. Moreover, he refused the tabernacle of Joseph and chose not the tribe of Ephraim, cause what I just read. So if you want to keep on fumbling with that 400 years and putting it over here, that's on you. But I'm showing you right here what time it is. Okay. So anyway, we're gonna keep moving. I'm gonna shine a light on that. All right. So like I said, the title of the lesson is, we got a lot of stuff to cover. So the title of the lesson is that Israel, Exodus, the vibranium, Wakanda, and Tanakh. So you can add end times in there if you want to. But so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go with a blast from the past when I first started with Prophets of Awakening. Some information I had put out, and like I said, when you understand, Esau got his own end times, and he started a long time ago, way back in at the Library of Alexandria, when he slicked us with the New Testament, and they concocted JC, and we caught up in that. But you gotta understand how slick he is. He was in the presence of Abraham. Abraham was dealing with the Lord of hosts, and he was in the presence of Abraham. So he's something to be reckoned with, because he's an insider. So anyway, let's look at it. Let me play this. Okay. Give me a minute. Just trying to get all this situated. Okay. Like I said, it's a blast from the past. And you in good health and full of zeal of the Lord of hosts. I am here today to inform all Hebrew Israelites of the coming event to come upon us. The Lord of hosts informed our forefathers that the sun and the moon are for signs and wonders in the heavens and for man upon the face of the earth. Hebrews, there are 3 consecutive super blood moons coming this year, 2019. January 20th, 2019, February 18th, 2019, and March 20th, 2019. The powers that be have proclaimed 2019 the year of return. Hebrews, the return that they are referring to is the return of all African Americans and Caribbeans back to their homeland in Africa. A bill was passed by President Trump in 2018 called H.R. 1242. This bill recognizes the 400 years that we, as Hebrew Israelites, have been in the Americas as slaves. 2019 is the 400th year of our slavery here in the Americas. There are festivals and celebrations set up throughout 2019 to acknowledge our captivity here in the Americas. Hebrews. There was a festival in Ghana, the first week of the new year, the Full Circle Festival, where a large number of African American celebrities gathered to celebrate the year of return. This festival was set up to start the celebrations for the entire year of 2019. Hebrews. Long before these events and festivals were set up, a preacher by the name of Pastor Manning informed us of these events. Back in 2012, Pastor Manning put out a video informing us as African Americans that the powers that be would round us up and return us back to the west coast of Africa, from whence they captured us back in 1619. Many Hebrew Israelites didn't accept what Pastor Manning was saying, but here we are in 2019, 7 years later, and everything that Pastor Manning said is unfolding in front of our eyes.
You ain't seen nothing yet. Obama's going to take away your citizenship. Obama's going to take away the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment of the Constitution, and he's going to send you and all other black people. Obama with Bill Gates and with Bill Clinton are going to send you and all other black people to either two places. You can stay here in the Western Hemisphere, and he's going to send you to Haiti, but he's going to round y'all up from South Central Los Angeles. He's going to round y'all up from the mega churches down in Dallas. He's going to round y'all up from the mega churches in Atlanta. He's going to round y'all up from New York, from Chicago, and he's going to send y'all back to Africa. That's right. Bill Gates wants y'all out of America. Mark Zuckerberg wants y'all out of America. George Soros wants y'all out of America. And I want to tell you something, my friends. And not too many years from now, black people are going to be sent back to Africa. Something that many say should have been done shortly after the Civil War. Well, Obama is going to be the one that put the policy in place, destroy the effectiveness of the Constitution, take over all your resources and your property, the National Defense Authorization Act, that anybody can be arrested. What that means is this: all black people are going to be arrested and going to be sent back to the West Coast or to the Sahara in Africa or sub-Saharan Africa, and there'll be nothing you can do about it. You'll have no constitution to call upon, no lawyer can defend you. There'll be no congressman, nor senator, nor judge that will hear your case. You run around here, Bishop Jackson, with Jesse and Allen, all these cross-dressers, all of these transvestites, all of these race baiters and race mixtures and hustlers. You run around here and you let the devil get on the throne of the White House. And now in not too many years, you go read the National Defense Resource Act. Obama owns all property. You read the National Defense Authorization Act. Anybody can be arrested, picked up at any time, and sent to any country. And that is not for white people. It's for black people. They're going to send you back to Africa, and it will solve America's economic problems. It'll solve America's crime problems. It will solve America's industrial problems. He's going to send you black people back to Africa. The National Defense Authorization Act, the destruction of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment of the Constitution. Obama is the son of Satan. I repeat, get down on your knees. Don't lead a press conference to rebuke Obama, but call black preachers and black churches down. You better hear me. You better hear me. You'd better hear what I have to say. You will be within the next 5 years on the west coast of Africa, meeting with your ancestors that sold you more than 300 years ago. You're going back to Africa, black preacher. You black liars, you're going back to Africa. And T.D. Jakes is going too. You're going back to Africa. What Obama's going to do? He's already getting FEMA He's already getting major transports, and he's already getting FEMA ready to deal with rounding up black people and sending you back to Africa. The son of Satan. Pray. Put on sackcloth and ashes. Pray.
Okay, so I played it on several different occasions, several different videos, and a lot of people back then thought that was a nutcase, right? Thought it was, throwed off. Okay, but let's look at what's going on now and see if it don't line up with what the brother was saying. First of all, we're gonna read Jeremiah 29 and 14. Okay, and so like I said, you fumble with it, whatever you want to do with it. You're gonna look up and it's gonna be on top of your head. So I'm in Jeremiah, right? 29. So the Lord keep telling us, Lord host keep telling us over and over again, I said it, I'm gonna perform it, I'm gonna bring it to pass. Right? So right here he told us in 29 and 14, he says, we'll start at verse 11. For I know thy thoughts that I think toward you. Okay. You got your mic open. Yeah, okay. It says, for I know thy thoughts that I think toward you, said the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Then shall you call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you, and ye shall seek me and find me. Up until this point, we've been seeking him, we ain't find it. When you shall search for me with all your heart. Then 14 is the prophecy, and I will be found of you, says the Lord, and I will return away. I will turn away your captivity, and I will gather you from all the nations and from all the places where I have driven you, said the Lord, and I will bring you again into the place which I had caused you to be carried away from, carried away captive. So we came here from the west coast of Africa, not from our homeland. We came from the west coast of Africa. Back when they went into Egypt, they came from their homeland. This is how he operate. He ain't gonna do nothing different. So when they 70 souls went in Egypt from the land of Canaan, 400 years later, he brought them back to the land of Canaan where they came from. We came from the west coast of Africa. Brother just told you that they got plans already to take us back to the west coast of Africa. That's Jeremiah 29 and 14. They ain't trying to take us back to our homeland. They're taking us back to where they got it from. It's just like bringing a homeless person in your house and get them to, trying to help them, and then you come to find out they got serious issues. So you take them right back where you got them from. So that's what they want to do. They want to take us right back where they got us from, and thinking they're going to be through with us. But anyway, I'm showing you that's the prophecy. So how are they going to accomplish that? Well, when the brother said that, we ain't had no evidence. We got evidence now, right? So here goes one of them right here. And like I say, you have to understand all this stuff is plotted and planned by these people, and we in the dark. We're not paying attention to it. You got to gather a mindset, start thinking like a Hebrew in order to gather this stuff. So all of a sudden they came out with the 400-year prophecy, right? And everybody aware of that. Then they came with this right here. Let me play it. It's let me see. Yeah, we'll play this. Okay, let me see how to do this. Okay. 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 Give me a minute. We gonna leave this.
in Ghana. More than 33 million people live in that country, and just recently, an influx of Americans have moved there. Ghana, with its echoing drum beats, rich rainforest, expansive beaches, and deep-rooted history, is now ready to take center stage. Host Denai Guerrera, welcoming 20,000 fans in person. Festival. Why was it for you to take part?
Always been about celebrating activists who are doing amazing things across the globe. The gathers so much amazing African artists.
Could it be something to do with Black Panther? Why do you feel it had such an impact?
The world was ready to in a whole new way, and it shows our specificity, our excellence, our diversity, our coolness, and it really gave an esteem to the continent and an attention from the world that I think it was ready for.
It's Ghana's mission to thrive as a cultural hub and tourist destination, but also as a place to call home.
I'm happy here. I feel a sense of alignment. I feel a sense of fulfillment. I think just as a Black American coming to Ghana, it's a return home.
An estimated 5,000 Black Americans have relocated to Ghana over the past 2 years.
To Ghana.
Including podcast host Demetria L. Lucas, who says she feels the excitement of possibility.
You see that there's cranes in the sky, literally, like they're building the city. And for me as an artist, like I can feel the energy. I feel like I'm living in the middle of a renaissance.
And a renaissance is exactly what African leaders on Cape Coast hope to create. We are looking at Africa without borders. It's happening. The future is Africa.
It's never gonna get told.
Influenced in part by the success of Marvel's Black Panther, proposals like Wakanda One, envisioning bustling, futuristic cities that honor the history and embrace what's to come.
We want to make sure Wakanda One city is futuristic. It's a sustainable energy city. There's hope for change. And we have to teach our children
exploring.
It's really cool to look at these names.
Two are sharing their love for culture.
Tell me about this astounding piece of art.
I was thinking about how can I reinterpret classic tarot cards in an African perspective, and obviously I had to put the Black Panther in because those movies have been a massive inspiration for me.
Here at the newly built Freedom Skate Park, creativity flows through the space, designed to connect the young people of Accra to the arts.
Talk to me a little bit about this wall.
This wall includes all the names of everybody who has helped create this place, from Virgil Abloh, may you rest in peace. We had Kendrick Lamar here the other month, and obviously you here. It inspires us, when you come and you see what we're trying to do as well.
Oh my goodness. I'm back now with Denai, and I love how you were trained on the monitor watching that piece with such pride, because you know that people are seeing Africa now in a different light.
Yeah, I mean, that is really, as I was telling you yesterday, Robin, my whole adult life, when I moved to the United States at 19, I've always wanted to just turn the camera a little bit towards the continent, because there's so many brilliant people. Every time I come here, I get blown away by people like David, and so many more people we'll see today. And it really, really is so exciting to just have that happening. And the aspect of how the film might make people look more to the continent, and how, it's what was already here.
Right.
It actually, the movie is inspired by the real.
Not the other way.
Not the
other way around. Yeah. And we saw, though, that Wakanda One, the futuristic city. What is your hope for the future of Africa?
Oh gosh, that's almost an emotional question. I mean, there's so much that I want to see the continent and its people allowed to fully realize their potential, and it's happening more and more and more. And the more it happens, the more powerful this continent becomes, and the world cannot ignore it.
No, they cannot. Well, thank you so much.
Okay. Okay, so we see I think what the brother had said was that we're gonna look up. You know what they did was they throwed it off because we said all that. You know, we had no information. You know, and we couldn't connect it to nothing. You know, it was like where it's coming from. But now we see it. What he said. This the plan right here, and what they doing just like in times old. They're using the boule, you know, to do it. You know, putting us to sleep because we sitting there mesmerized by the celebrities and all that. So guess what? They say they created this movie. They came out with the 400-year prophecy. And then they with the HR 12 or 42. Then they came with this Wakanda one. You know, sold all these tickets all over the place, and they hyped it up. And then look what we found out the other day. Let's look at it. Okay. So this place in Africa where technology, high technology, nobody else got that kind of technology because the place where Wakanda is at got this special mineral that nowhere else in the world. And they're able to operate with all this high technology because of this material, which was in the movie. And so-called watching the movie, it was supposed to be supernatural. I mean, it's supposed to be fantasy. It wasn't supposed to be real. All of a sudden, though, look at this. Okay.
Tono, a small town and territory in the Democratic Republic of the Congo's Tanganyika province, has recently made headlines due to a stunning discovery made by a group of local inhabitants. Locals stumbled upon a small cluster of stones that seemed to be giving off strange electric energy, and a video of the electrically charged stones, which many people purport to be vibranium, has gone viral over the internet in the last couple of days. According to a report by Mandy News, the discovery was made by a group of villagers who are out on a daily hustle in the surrounding area. The stones discovered are dark, almost black color, and have a smooth, glossy surface, and appear to be composed of a type of mineral that has not been previously identified. Two men can be seen in the video demonstrating their discovery. The electric rocks can be seen sparking when touched against each other. Another video shows a small piece of the rock being used to light up a small bulb. According to sources, a gram of these charged rocks, which some say to be vibranium, can power a light bulb for more than 72 hours, and a kilo may power a 2-bedroom house for 2 months. The video swiftly circulated across the community, and it was soon shared and viewed by individuals from all over the country and the world. Scientists and experts have been eager to learn more about this mysterious discovery, which many netizens think is vibranium, the fictional metal appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics. Vibranium is noted for its extraordinary abilities to absorb, store, and release large amounts of kinetic energy, and was recently popularized by the release of the movie Black Panther. Experts say it is highly unlikely that this stunning discovery is vibranium, as it is purely fictional. Nevertheless, the Democratic Republic of the Congo is known, including coltan, cobalt, copper, gold, and tin, among others. Therefore, some believe it is a type of coltan, a mineral that exceptionally conducts electricity and that is exploited in the Congo by multinationals such as Tesla, Samsung, and Apple with child slavery. Others say it is cobalt, a hard silver-gray metal that is commonly used in the production of batteries, magnets, and high-strength alloys. However, according to experts, Neither cobalt nor coltan can hold electrical charges without undergoing some refinement. Therefore, as of now, further research is being conducted to gain a deeper understanding of the properties, composition, and benefits of the stones found in the Central African country. If you enjoyed this video, do check out our next one, which looks at the discovery.
Okay, so they came up with HR 1242, and they created a 400-year prophecy. You know, they had no problem finagling our books, finagling our records. Then they came out with Wakanda 1, right? And then now, all of a sudden, all that was same time they created the 400 years with the 1242, they came out with Wakanda 1. Now they could just release Wakanda 1, Wakanda 2. Now all of a sudden they just found this vibranium all of a sudden, right? So look at this. My bad. Let me go back. See? Like I say, I'm trying to Negro read this, so. See? See?
If I'm not the hope, and not most of us have Wakanda, and nothing else to tilt.
Just
like
but it took me a while to see exactly what the Wakanda City of Return truly means for any other dream to own homes, their own on their home land. To encourage them, I know some of us can't leave it so those of us who believe that the fate us in real life, wait until you see that this is about to change for the first time in history thanks to the inauguration of the Wakanda City of Return initiative in Ghana. The Wakanda City of Return project in Ghana has been officially unveiled, and it is meant to be a lasting legacy of the Ghana government's Year of Return celebrations. And it is in addition to the Return tourist initiatives. City of Cape Coast officials have signed a memorandum of understanding with the African Diaspora Development Institute, ADI, as well as with local businesses, to pave the way for the development of an ultra-modern smart city to be known as the Wakanda City of Return. The project is expected to create about 5,000 direct and indirect jobs and open opportunities in Africa and beyond to boost tourism development. Welcome to Think Africa, the community which brings to you entrepreneurial, business and personal development content to inform, motivate and inspire you. We also want to introduce you to our special African development playlist because we strongly believe entrepreneurship rather than global pity is the key to.
Hey, looking for a pre-owned vehicle? Well, at NavarreHasIt.com.
Anticipated to go to Ghana to see the ultra structure based to the teaching about this. The city's construction is in keeping with the numerous tourist attractions in the surrounding area, which is from the central region. The city of Cape Town as the country's tourism hub and a mecca for African descent in the diaspora. Every year, thousands of Black people from all over the world travel to Cape Coast and other historic slave sites to learn about the transatlantic slave and its consequences. The region was a hotspot of the slave trade, which resulted in millions of Africans being uprooted. And the culture is a variety of castles and prisons that were once used to hold enslaved men and women for days before to the Americas to labor on various plantation operations. The building of 5-star hotels, a heritage promenade, retreat and conference facilities, as well as the continental corporate headquarters of the African Diaspora Development Institute, are expected to transform the coasts of Cape Coast in the near future. At the Jamboree, Her Excellency Ambassador Aragon, Coco, the former African Union representative to the United States, and the president of the African Diaspora Development Institute, praised the Honorable Ernest Arthur, the mayor of Cape Coast, for his commitment to seeing that this project comes to fruition and for ensuring that it is successful. During the meeting, she expressed her willingness to mobilize finances in order for the construction to begin as soon as possible. The African Diaspora Development Institute was established to serve as a link between Africans living abroad and their home countries on the African continent. The Ghanaian government brought about this year of return and African diaspora, resurrect the 400-year-old vanished history and investment income, and strengthen ties with African Americans and other members of the diaspora. %80 of the slaves that left Africa for the Americas were drawn into Ghana and then transported. The city is a therapeutic journey for African children to return home. It is a place where African children, descendants of former slaves, can complete their journey back to their motherland. Africa has been repressed for more than 400 years, yet its culture and history has to be rebuilt in honor of our dear continent. To make our continent what it is today, loved ones' lives were sacrificed. Cape Coast Castle is one of about 40 slave castles, or large commercial forts, built by European traders on the Gold Coast of West Africa. Though we call them castles traumas, we must modify our tale and turn lemons into lemonade by rebuilding those dungeons and creating new, better memories in order to complete the healing trip. Consider everything that has been done to oppress Africans and people of African descent over the world. Even though they have been successful for more than 400 years, we will have reached the end of the road when descendants of the formerly enslaved can find a home, living at the exact location where their ancestors last stepped foot on African soil, when descendants of the formerly enslaved can stand up and stare across the Atlantic and tell them once more that we have returned and are on our way to find our forefathers, reminding them that this task could have taken us decades to complete. Finally, we can declare that the task is finished. The Wakanda city of return in Cape Coast, beginning with the exact location where our ancestors were stolen from our beloved continent and brought to this country. We couldn't have picked a better or more appropriate setting to kick off and establish the Festwatchen in the city of return. This is a goal that should have been accomplished a long time ago, and we are grateful to Cape Coast's mayor. This is a long overdue aim, and we are grateful to the mayor of Cape Coast for enabling and accepting us to come in and participate and partner with the city as well as the country of Ghana.
Okay, so you see where we're going, you see where they're headed, right? All right, so they came up with the vibranium all of a sudden. At the same time, they came out with the part 2 of Wakanda, right? And at the same time, the video I just played was distributed a couple of months ago. They had already started the groundwork to build this Wakanda One city on the west coast of Africa. where the slave castles at. Same place where we carried away from, right? So, like I said, you got two end times. The one they concocting, and the one the Lord host got them concocting, and the one that's actually in the scriptures. So what you're looking at is, he said he's gonna make them look like idiots in the last days. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're thinking that, you know, this like a spit in the Most High face. Okay. So anyway, with that being said, let's look at this. Then we're going. I'm gonna open up for some Q&A. Then we're going to the lesson. It's all tied together. Okay. Here we go.
Well, listen, I'm still here in Cape Town. I'm here on the beach. Some of the boats, I mean, look at this behind me. Look at this. I don't know how much wind is being picked up and all that, but later on tonight, I'm going to talk about something. I think you want to tune in to this, because I'm seeing this thing where a lot of people are on this whole exodus from America, and I'm going to drop something that a lot of people probably have not considered. And what it is really understanding who owns you. America's not going to give up its property. So like this mass exodus of Africans leaving and all of that, while that sounds good in some cases, depending on where they go, many people, if it happens in droves, or if it happens too much, America's going to shut that down. I know some people are like, wait a minute, I'm going to talk about it tonight when I do my live. I'm going to explain it to you step by step, because you need a passport to get around. So somebody said, well, I got my citizenship in Sierra Leone. I got my citizenship. So I'm going to talk about it tonight. And I think it will put a different perspective as to why, like some of those people who are of African descent, who say they're not from Africa, it's probably best they stay in America, because for those who want to go and relocate permanently, it's probably best for some people to stay on the American plantation, so as not to disrupt your plans of exodus. I'm going to talk about it today. I'm going to break it down. Make sure that you subscribe to the Cameron, the notification bell. So when I go live, I can walk this thing down to you. African Americans, beware. America is not going to give up her property without a fight, especially if it starts impacting the money. Anyway, I'm still coming to you from right outside of Cape Town in South Africa. Right here, the surfers are out, the beaches are out, and this is why I think it's good for you to visit Africa, so you can kind of see some options. But let us understand exactly what's going on, so we don't set ourselves up for major disappointment. A lot of diasporans were severely disappointed when they thought they could just up and leave and go without understanding the dynamics. So tonight we're going to talk about it. I'm going to break it down and make sure you tune in on Maximum Impact Big Cameron on YouTube.
Okay. So let's look at that, right? So when you got a flock of sheep, right? Because that's what we were in Egypt. And you say the Lord of hosts, Michael, which is the shepherd. That's our shepherd. He came and he got us out of Egypt and led us through the wilderness, through the desert, and brought us to the land of Canaan, right? So we sheep. So if you got thousands and millions of sheep, it's a system to deal with them sheep. You got to have sheepdog. You got to have shepherds. You got the master shepherd, but you got to have shepherds all around to lead that herd. That's what they're doing. You got the boule. All these Negroes you see, they're showing up We just saw the video where all the celebrities over there in Ghana. We got this brother right here. They all the boule, and they're using them to relocate us. They already told us that by 2030, 85 to 90% of the world population is going to be in Africa. Okay, keep in mind that the Nigerians is Ephraim, right? As we go on with this class, Judah is over here in America. Nigeria is Ephraim, Nigerians. Ephraim and Judah got a hatred. Well, especially Ephraim. Ephraim got a perpetual hatred for Judah. Now you want to know why the Nigerians got a problem with that? That's what it is. Okay, so let's look at it. Keep going. Well, right here I'm gonna open it up, put some Q&A comments. Let me deal with this one right here first. Okay, says, can you cross-reference Jasher 75 with Ezekiel the Valley of Dry Bones? Well, I mean, you know, it says in the Valley of Dry Bones that it's the whole house of Israel, right? But in Jasher 35, we're dealing with Ephraim. Joseph had two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. So let's look at that right quick. I'm in Genesis 48. I'm showing you the favoritism. Just like Joseph, Jacob showed favoritism to Joseph and gave him that coat of many colors. The Lord of hosts loved Joseph. So he showed Joseph favoritism by raising up Ephraim. Just look at it. But like I said, Ephraim turned on him. And he left out of his pride. He left early from the 400 years that the Most High had prophesied through Abraham. He decided on his own. He thought he had the strength and the might to do it on his own to leave Egypt. So anyway, it says right here in Genesis 48 that this is when Joseph brought his two sons to Jacob to bless him. I'm in 48 and 12. And Joseph brought them out from between his knees, and he bowed himself with his face toward the earth. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand toward Israel's right hand, and both of them and brought them near to him. And Israel stretched out his right hand and laid it upon Ephraim's head, right? This favoritism, blessing the right hand, who was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hand willingly, and Manasseh was firstborn. And he blessed Joseph, and he said, before whom my father Abraham and Isaac did walk, the God whom fed me all my life long to this day, the angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the last, and let my name be named upon them, in the name of my father Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow in a multitude in the midst of the earth. And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him, and he held up his father's hand and removed it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh's head. And Joseph said unto his father, not so, my father, for this is not the firstborn, but the right hand, put the right hand upon his head. And his father refused and said, I know it, my son, I know it. He also shall become a people, talking about Manasseh, the firstborn, and he also shall be great, but truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. And he blessed them that day, saying, indeed shall Israel bless, saying, God make thee as Ephraim and Manasseh. And he said Ephraim above Manasseh. So right here we see the Lord of hosts using Jacob to bless Ephraim, raise Ephraim up. But Ephraim got beside himself, and he left, contrary to the prophecy that has been spoken by his grandfather Abraham about Egypt. They left early. Let's go back there right quick. I want to show you what happened. Okay, That's why you don't really hear that much about them. So anyway, let's get it. 75. Okay. So like I said in 7 in Ezekiel 37, he said it's the whole house of Israel. We're dealing with a tribe right here. So it says, I'm gonna read it again, 75 Jasher. At that time, in the 180th year of the Israelites going down into Egypt, there went from Egypt valiant men, 30,000 on foot, from the children of Israel, who were all of the tribe of Joseph. So see, they valiant men. So they blessed of the tribe of Ephraim, the sons of Joseph, for they said the period was completed. They said the period which was completed of the Lord had appointed to the children of Israel in the times old, which he had spoken to Abraham. And these men girded themselves. This is the problem with the giants. That's why they wouldn't submit to the Most High. They thought, because of their strength, they ain't need the Most High. This is where Ephraim came to. And these men girded themselves, and they put each man his sword at his side, and every man his armor upon him, and they trusted in their strength. See that? They forgot about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and all that was revealed to them about the Lord of hosts. And they went out together from Egypt with a mighty hand. But they brought no provisions for the road, only silver and gold, not even bread. For that day did it bring in hand, as they thought of getting their provisions for pay from the Philistines, these giants. If not, they would take it by force. And these men were very mighty and valiant. One man could pursue 1,000, and two could rout out 10,000. So they trusted in their strength and went together as they were, and they directed their course toward the land of Gath. And they went down and found the shepherds of Gath feeding the cattle and the cattle of the children of Gath. And they said to the shepherds, "Give us some of the sheep for pay, that we may eat, for we are hungry, for we have eaten no bread this day." And the shepherd said, "Are they our sheep or cattle that we should give them to you even for pay?" So the children of Ephraim approached to take them by force. And the shepherds of Gath shouted over them that their cry was heard at a distance. And the children of Gath went out to them. And when the children of Gath saw the evil doings of the children of Ephraim, they returned and assembled the men of Gath, and they put on each man his armor, and came to the children of Ephraim for battle. And they engaged with them in the valley of Gath, and the battle was severe. And they smote from each other a great many that day. And on the second day, the children of Gath sent to all the cities of the Philistines that they should come to their help, saying, "Come up unto us to help us, that we may smite the children of Ephraim, who had come from Egypt, to take our cattle and to fight against us without cause." Now the souls of the children of Ephraim were exalted with hunger and thirst, for they had eaten no bread for 3 days. And 40,000 men went forth from the cities of the Philistines to the assistance for the men of Gath. And these men were engaged in battle with the children of Ephraim, and the Lord delivered the children of Ephraim into the hands of the Philistines. See that? So they got knocked out because of the Lord of hosts, because of their disobedience about what was prophesied to them by Abraham. Okay. So like I was saying, I hope that answers your question and help you out. But so like I was saying, I'm opening it up for some Q&A right here at this point. Got any questions or comments about anything so far? You want to shine a light on?
Shalom, everybody. I just wanted to shine a light on when you was talking about the Boule, that place where they were in Africa, and they was showing about Kendrick Lamar. Did anybody pay attention to that picture that the guy drew that had the skull and bones with the square black and white floor on it?
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right. And like I said, all these people they use in Boule, when you look at it, they ain't, they're not who you think they are. And when you in the right place with the scriptures, they're using all that. They're always being concocted. Like I said. Okay, anybody else?
Yes, shalom. And I just kind of wanted to say something about the picture too. That did you guys catch when he said he wanted to tie that art design into the tarot cards along with Wakanda. I don't know if you guys caught that or not, but he said that too. And that's when I noticed the skull that was in the middle of the crown with the black and white floor.
Right, that's Masonic.
Right. Yes. Yes. He said that.
Come on,
And
Egypt.
yes, sir. Yes. And I have another comment. When you was reading Psalm 78 and also Jasher 75, the understanding that I'm really getting out of that is that Ephraim thought as though because they had, you know, these mighty men and all these good weapons that they was gonna you know, defeat, right? But not understanding that no matter how much power you have, no matter what weapons you have, if you don't understand and know, you know, God's great work, you know what I'm saying, and what he's capable of doing, you're gonna lose the battle. So that goes with today. You have people going out purchasing all these guns and these weapons and this and that, not understanding that you still can be defeated.
Right, exactly. Right. Right. It's because it's the will of the Lord.
Right.
Like he said, he made the final decision and they got routed. They got routed. Same thing with the AI. When Achan and his wife had stole stuff out of he told them don't get none of the valuables out of the city. They took some, and Israel couldn't win a battle after that until they figured out what had happened. So it's not about nothing you doing or nothing Israel doing. He's making the final decision based on how we dealing with him.
Yes, sir. Right. And that goes to my next you know, question / comment. You know what I'm saying? Is that you know, things are being revealed to us much faster now. You know, like for instance, in the movies, right? We're able to connect dots much faster. Before, you know, we can look at movies that was put out, you know, 20-25 years ago, and we look at that movie again and we're like, oh wow. But today movies are being put out and here things are being revealed to us of the reasons why they are making these movies. And you know, I think it's in the book of Amos, correct me, Brother Leonard, if I'm wrong, where they said things are going to happen much faster, that it's going to make our heads swim. We're going to, you know, things are going to come to pass and be revealed to us much faster. And I look at the days today, you know, I'll be at work today and 8 hours pass by so fast. The weeks has passed by so fast. You know what I'm saying? So I think that in today's time, things are going to be happening so much faster that we're not going to be able to keep up with it. We're just going to be at an awe moment.
Right. He said time was going to speed up. A day was going to be like an hour.
Right.
A week is going to be like a day, and a month is going to be like a week, and a year was going to be like a month. That's why where we at. It's just past time is moving so fast because of the events. He's quickened it. Yeah. We're looking at that. Okay. Yeah, that was some good information. You got anybody else got anything? Okay, yeah. So I played all that and I did all that for like I say, put your shoes on because we at the precipice. It's hammer time. We can't. It's no way to get around it. So like I say, the topic is this class or this study is Israel Exodus, Vibranium, Wakanda, the City of Return, and the Tanakh, right? And so far, we didn't connect all the dots with that. So with that being said, based on all the information that we just obtained, that was just delivered, we're gonna look at this right here, and I'm gonna let you make the decision. Okay, let me get it, set it up. Okay, let me get this. Okay.
Sonding, showing you where development is happening. Please come and join us.
Check it out.
Why is US building largest consulate in Nigeria? US building $537 million Nigerian consulate. Is it only to boost relations? Lagos consulate will be biggest in the world when completed. The United States is building a new $537 million consulate in Nigeria's commercial hub. The 10-story building, planned for a 12-acre site in Lagos, will be the biggest American consulate in the world when it is completed in 2027, Mary Leonard, the U.S. ambassador to Nigeria, said at a groundbreaking ceremony. It is intended to strengthen collaboration between the U.S. and Africa's most populous country in areas including music, arts, technology, and entrepreneurship, she said. The U.S. is Nigeria's third biggest trading partner, after China and India, with $5.4 billion in total trade in 2020. The new consulate will be the anchor tenant of the multi-billion-dollar Eco-Atlantic development in Lagos, a 10-square-kilometer, 3.8-square-mile piece of reclaimed oceanfront land designed to be a self-sufficient and sustainable commercial and residential district. The contract for the design and building was awarded to Pernix Federal, LLC of Lombard, Illinois, the consulate said in a statement. Why we are building largest consulate in the world at Echo Atlantic City. The government said the new consulate will provide a modern space for the largest consular operation in Africa. The United States government says it is committed to strengthening the enduring US-Nigeria relationship, investing in the partnership for the benefit of our two nations. At a historic groundbreaking ceremony highlighting the enduring bilateral friendship and partnership between the country and Nigeria, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State joined US Ambassador Mary Beth Leonard and US Consul General Claire Pierangelo to mark the beginning of construction of a new US Consulate General in Lagos. On a 12.2-acre site in the rapidly developing Echo Atlantic City, the new U.S. Consulate General in Lagos will support diplomatic and commercial relations.
Yeah, this next door, Echo Atlantic.
Between the United States and Nigeria and will provide American and Nigerian consulate employees with a safe, sustainable, and modern workplace. The $537 million new consulate construction project will directly benefit the Nigerian people, according to a statement by the U.S. consulate. Throughout the project, the U.S. government will invest an estimated $95 million in the local economy, and the project will employ approximately 2,500 Nigerian citizens, including engineers, architects, artisans, construction workers, and administrative staff, the consulate added. In her remarks at the ceremony, Ms. Leonard expressed appreciation to the Nigerian and Lagos state government for their support. Our vision for this remarkable consulate campus is to create a facility that both honors the vibrant relationship between the United States and Nigeria and communicates the spirit of American democracy, transparency, and openness, Ms. Leonard said. Nigeria and the United States have a long-standing history of people-to-people engagement fostering bridges between our two nations. We look forward to the many accomplishments we will continue to achieve together in the future, Consul General Claire Pierangelo said. The statement said the new consulate will provide a modern space for the largest consular operation in Africa, including improved public-facing interview and waiting areas. When completed, the statement said, it will be the largest U.S. consulate in the world, demonstrating the importance of the relationship between the United States and Nigeria. The construction project targets leadership in energy and environmental design, LEED, Silver certification, a globally recognized designation for achievement in high performance, best-in-class, green buildings, and incorporates many features designed to make the building more sustainable. The United States Consulate General, Lagos, Nigeria, is a federal United States-owned development initiated by the United States Bureau of Overseas Buildings Operations, and proposed to serve as the United States Consulate in Lagos. Its location, Echo Atlantic, is a prime development in Victoria Island, which once completed will provide modern infrastructures for the community. Echo Atlantic is an approximately $6 billion project that will add approximately circa 19 million square meters of reclaimed land to the shores of Victoria Island in Lagos. It commenced in 2003 and currently has other developments such as Arkland's A&A Towers, Echo Pearl Towers, Periwinkle Residences, Pan Atlantis Towers. The project is being developed by the Bureau of Overseas Buildings Operations, OBO, who have been involved in 168 new diplomatic facilities, with up to 50 active projects, either in design or under construction worldwide. The main contractor, Pernix Group, is a leading construction company with an award as one of the top 50 US contractors working abroad. Its architect, Enid Architect, are also world-class architects, having participated in several world projects. ATO Architects, who is the local architect of the project, have been involved in projects in Nigeria, including Africa Reinsurance House, FIRS headquarters.
How to store and sort all.
Okay, so you see right here, they're building the biggest consulate, which is it's like an embassy, the biggest in the world, in Nigeria. America is. Why? You see everything else that they've done, and they just had 49 African countries over here a couple weeks ago. That's how close we is. And so they concocting all this way back. The brother already knew that way back in the day. He was telling you that. You're an insider too. But it's the fact that he said all that, but we didn't have no evidence. We're looking at all the evidence right now. You think they're building a $500-some million consulate / embassy in Nigeria right next door to the financial hub of the world, because that's what Echo Atlantic is going to be, financial hub of the world. Next door to that is the Golden Belt Initiative. I told you, all that's over there. This place over here it's going to be a drastic change in the America's role in the world. It's going to be like the Hunger Games. But anyway, so it's right here in our face. And they said this thing right here, this consulate, they're looking for it to be done by 2027. They're almost on completing Echo Atlantis. It's been playing 25, 30, 50 years ago. All this stuff been playing, the pandemic. So you say, well, what you talking about? Well, look at this right here. Nobody can make no sense to this, but I can make sense of it. Let's look at it. Check it out.
So by the name of Tyree Nichols. And our brother was savagely beaten. And eventually he lost his life in the hands of police. But no, it's not the police that you normally would see do things like this. It is Black police officers that did this. What should make every Black person in America more outraged than ever to see Black police officers would do something like this to a Black man. Let's go ahead and roll this clip.
Oh my God. Not only was it violent,
this is how they manipulate it.
It was savage.
Oh my God. Last Friday, 5 of the officers involved were fired. All had been on the force between 5 and 2.5 years. In a statement, Memphis police said, "We have determined that 5 MPD officers violated multiple department policies, including excessive use of force, duty to intervene, and duty to..."
So like I was saying, I'll play a little more. I want to put some emphasis on this. So what you got Negroes going to do is they're trying to find all kind of ways to dissect this. You know what I'm saying? This Esau. Same when they brought Obama in the White House. This how they manipulate Israel nation. Right here. Just watch how it unfold. They did this way back when they concocted JC. Now, 2,500 years later, you can't disconnect a Hebrew Israelite from him. A lot of them gonna die holding on to JC. This how Esau worked. Most High said he got to get rid of Esau. The wise men out of Esau, these Illuminati bankers. That's what this is all about. Commerce. Transatlantic slave trade was about commerce. What I'm showing you today is all about what they finna do. They made trillions and trillions of dollars off of the United States, but they don't need it no more because they done learned from the system they set in place over here. And technology done grown, so now they're going to make 10 times that, setting up a whole other system. And they got to be cut off. But they so ignorant, they're so slick, till they doing everything the Most High already prophesied was gonna happen. They done created an end time prophecy, end time events on top of Most High events. And so how you think that's gonna end up? So like I said, watch how this play out.
It's just so hard to even fathom all of this because it's not even real to me right now.
Don't make no sense.
I don't have any feelings right now. I don't even know I don't know anything right now. All I know is my son Tyree is not here with me anymore. He will never walk through that door again. He will never come in and say, "Hello, parents," because that's what he would do. He would come in and say, "Hello, parents." All my son was trying to do was get home. That's all he tried to do was come home. He was 2 minutes from the house when they stopped him. He was less than 80 yards away when they murdered him. Yes, I said murder.
That's right.
Because when I walked into that hospital room, my son was already dead. The hospitals, they kept him alive, or they put him on the breathing machine just for my satisfaction, I guess. But my son died on January 7th. The doctors pulled the plug on January 10th. You know, last Monday was Martin Luther King. Because at the end of the day.
Okay. Any comments? Two on that. Let it come on.
Yes. Okay. I just, we just stay woke, Israel. This is just, Esau at his finest.
Yep.
Yeah. Man. Crazy.
That's what to do. Just what to do, when to
right.
do.
Right.
That's
exactly.
why we in the debacle when we throw it off. Half our 90% of our people, they in La La Land. Okay. You got anything else on that?
No, sir. I'm good.
Okay, so let me see where I'm going. Yeah, so I'm gonna play this right here. This is Blasphemy Pass that I thought was relevant for this class. Let me get it. Okay. Hebrews, why am I giving you all this information on ghost cities, Echo Atlantis, Wakanda, and Africa? Because, my fellow Hebrew Israelites, Africa is our future. Africa is part of prophecy. We must return back by the way in which we came from our homeland of Israel. Hebrews, we left the land of Israel back in 143 BCE when we were driven out by the Greeks and the Edomites. Hebrews, we settled on the west coast of Africa, where some 1,500 years later, Deuteronomy 28 verse 68 overcame us. Deuteronomy 28 verse 68 states, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Hebrews, just as the Lord of hosts prophesied, the slave ships appeared and scattered us among our enemies. Hebrews, now that we are at the end of our captivity in the Western world, it is time for us as the people of Yah, to return unto him. Hosea 6, verses 1 and 2 states, come, let us return unto the Lord, for he hath torn, and he will heal us. He hath smitten, and he will bind us up. After 2 days will he revive us. In the third day will he raise us up, and we shall live in his sight. Hebrews, 1 day with the Lord is 1,000 years upon the earth. Do the math. Hosea the prophet is speaking to the captive slaves of the day, not Abraham in Genesis 15, verse 13. When Israel went into Babylonian captivity, the Babylonians enslaved them. But when the Lord of hosts turned their captivity, they came out by the Medes and Persians. Cyrus, Hebrews. Hebrews, in this last and final captivity, Israel was enslaved by the Europeans, but the Lord of hosts would turn this captivity by way of the Chinese. Hebrews, the Chinese are in Africa. Hebrews, the Chinese are building up Africa. There are major plans by the powers to be. Esau, the Illuminized Edomites want the African Americans along with the Caribbeans back in Africa. All these events are being orchestrated by the Lord of hosts. Hebrews, let me give you a scriptural proof of what I'm pronouncing. The bankers, the African Union, and China wants us back in Africa, Ghana, and the west coast of Africa. The Lord of hosts says in Zephaniah 2, verses 9 and 10, which states, for then will I return the people at pure language, that they may all call upon the name of the Lord, to serve him with one consent. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my supplements, even the daughter of my dispersed, shall bring mine offering. Hebrews, I must ask the question at this juncture. What is beyond the river Ethiopia? Answer being the west coast of Africa. Hebrews. Echo Atlantic City and Wakanda, one villages, are located in Victoria Falls, Israelite cities. The Lord of hosts, speaking to Gog and Magog, which is Russia and China, in Ezekiel 38, verses 10 and 11, which states, thus saith the Lord God, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall the thing come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gates. Hebrews, the powers that be, want Hebrew Israelites to populate these ghost cities and Wakanda villages, including Ghana and Echo Atlantis. The cities of Ezekiel 38, verses 10 and 11 are not located in Israel. The unwalled cities are located in Africa, where the powers to be has placed us at the very end of Israel's captivity. Then Hebrews, Zephaniah 3, verses 19 and 20 comes to pass, which states, behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that halted, and gather her that was driven out, and I will give them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. And at that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you. I will make you a name and a praise among all people of the earth, when I turn back your captivity before your eyes, said the Lord of hosts. At this point, Micah 7, verses 11 come to pass, which states, in that day that the walls are to be built. In that day shall the decree be removed. And Amos 9, verse 11 through 15 comes to pass, which states, in that day, when I will raise up the tabernacle of David, that is fallen, close up the breaches, the walls thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old, that they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen, which are called by my name, saith the Lord, that doeth this. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the treader of grapes, him that soweth seed, and the mountains shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt, and I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled up out of their land which I have given unto them, saith the Lord. Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. In closing, I must say, and shine a light on my point. The unwalled cities in prophecy and the walled cities are in two different locations. The unwalled cities are in Africa, consisting of Echo Atlantis, Ghana, and Wakanda. The walled cities are located in our homeland of Israel, the so-called land of Canaan. Shalom, 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 Hebrews. Okay. Is there anything else need to be said? Okay. Any comments?
Yeah, and they said,
say that again.
Go ahead,
and they still stuck on America. We've been here, and this is our homeland, and we gonna be here to the end.
Right, exactly. Till he moves. Yeah. What you say? Somebody was saying something?
Yes, shalom. I'm just going to say hallelujah. I know it was, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago when you made this video, right? And I know about 4 years ago, I was, blessed to come in contact with Prophets of Awakening, and listening to that video, I was like, what in the world is he talking about? I just had no idea. And, I just have to smile because listening to it today, it all makes sense. So for me, that lets me know how far I have came in this knowledge. And again, I just want to say, hallelujah. That goes into sync with the videos you played earlier, what you was talking about in Amos, and, what you speak of in Jeremiah, and what we see and what we can read. You know what I'm saying? It may not make sense to us in the beginning.
Right.
But it is meant for us. It is meant for Judah to understand how the Lord of hosts works. And to understand he's not silver, he's not gold, he's not wood, he's not an idol. He's a true living God. And I just have to say hallelujah on that.
Right. Yeah. So like I was saying, back when all this first started happening to me, I was trying to find a way, because I was isolated, and I was trying to find a way to communicate with people. And so I just prayed about it and talked to the Most High about it. And I realized what's being said and what's being shown, when you deliver it to people, they're not going to register. So my thing was to build a foundation first, and then a year later, if you hang around, then we're able to have a conversation. But the foundation got to be built first. When you come over here on Prophets Awakening, a foundation got to be laid first. Then 60 months to a year later, then we can talk. That's how that will operate. So you gotta let that ferment. Okay. So, anybody else, everything else before we go? Everybody good? Okay. What's up, D-Ray? Yeah, I want to say shalom, and another shalom. I see everybody this evening at our evening Sabbath class, so we can close out the Shabbat. Shalom.
Shalom.